You ever hear about a mom who fought rules not with anger, not with shouting, but with sidewalk chalk, and ended up turning her neighborhood upside down? Before we dive in, comment what country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story travels. It was a quiet suburban morning in Alabama. The sun had just started peeking over rows of neat houses, the kind where every lawn looked like it had been trimmed with a ruler. In one of those houses lived Mackenzie, a young mom of 2. She had a habit that made her home stand out, not with flashy decorations, not with loud music, but with chalk. Every weekend, she and her kids would pull out a bucket of colored chalk and transform their driveway into something magical. Sometimes it was rainbows. Sometimes it was little quotes like "Be kind today" or "You are loved." To the kids, it was just fun. To Mackenzie, it was a way of sprinkling joy into a world that could feel heavy. Neighbors walking their dogs would smile. Joggers would slow down to read the words. Kids riding bikes would stop just to trace the colors with their wheels. It was innocent, it was harmless, and it was beautiful. But not everyone saw it that way. One afternoon, as Mackenzie was scrubbing a stubborn patch of pink chalk off her fingers, a letter slipped into her mailbox. The envelope was stiff, formal, and stamped with 3 letters that made her heart sink: HOA. Inside was a single sheet of paper. The words were cold. Your driveway chalk drawings have been deemed inappropriate for the aesthetic of the community. Please remove them daily by sundown or face violation fines. Mackenzie stared at the letter, stunned. Tacky, she whispered to herself. They think joy is tacky? That evening, she sat at the kitchen table with her husband. The kids were coloring quietly in the next room. What are you gonna do? He asked. Mackenzie smiled, but it wasn't the smile of defeat. It was the smile of someone who had just thought of something bold. The next morning, before the neighborhood had even woken up, she tiptoed outside with her chalk bucket. The air was cool, the sky still gray. And right there, on the same driveway the HOA wanted scrubbed clean, she drew again. Not just flowers or rainbows this time she wrote in big, looping letters. Happiness isn't against the rules. By sunrise, joggers stopped to read it. Dog walkers laughed. Kids pointed and clapped. The HOA, however, was not amused. Another letter came. Another warning. But Mackenzie didn't back down. Every morning at 6 a.m., she was out there, knees dusty, palms smudged with blue, pink, and yellow, redrawing what the HOA wanted gone. One day it was a giant sunflower that stretched across the pavement. Another day, a message: the world needs more color, not less. Her quiet protest began to catch attention. Neighbors started snapping photos. One teen recorded a short video and posted it on TikTok. Within hours, it spread like wildfire. People from all over were commenting, "This mom is a legend. Let her kids have their chalk. HOA versus happiness, guess who's gonna win?" And while the internet was rallying behind her, life in the neighborhood was changing, too. One evening, Mackenzie found a folded note on her porch. No envelope, just handwritten words. "Thank you for the colors. I've been going through a hard time, and your drawings make my mornings brighter." It was signed, "Just a neighbor." That small note gave Mackenzie more strength than any protest sign could. But the turning point came 2 weeks later. The HOA president, a man in a crisp white shirt and an always serious expression, showed up at her doorstep. He carried a clipboard, the universal symbol of authority. "Mackenzie," he said firmly, "you know this can't continue." She looked at him, calm but steady. "I'm not breaking anything. I'm just drawing with chalk. By sundown, it's gone. And the next day, it comes back. That's all." For a long moment, he said nothing. He looked past her at the driveway where that day's creation glowed in bold colors, a huge rainbow with the words "Joy lives here." Behind him, a few neighbors stood quietly, watching. Some had phones out, recording. Others just stood with folded arms, silent but supportive. The HOA president cleared his throat, adjusted his glasses, and finally said, "Fine. Do what you want. He turned and walked away. That evening, as the sun dipped low, Mackenzie stood in her driveway, chalk still in her hand. Her kids danced around the rainbow she'd drawn, their laughter echoing through the street. And for the first time in weeks, she felt something deeper than defiance. She felt victory. Because it wasn't just about chalk anymore. It was about kindness standing its ground. About color pushing back against gray. About one mom reminding everyone that rules should never erase joy. So, the next time you see a bit of sidewalk chalk, remember this: sometimes, the smallest acts can paint the biggest rebellions. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe for more. Because the best stories are the ones that surprise you.